Hi everyone, and welcome to After the Final Set. My name is Luke, and as always, I love to share my thoughts after my training session. Like I always said, something about training gets me to think differently, gets me to reflect upon challenges, opportunities, whatnot in a different way, and therefore I thought it might be helpful to share it with you. I'm going to jump right into it. Topic today is all about mindset and the difference of being in proximity to something, so in other words, being in the area versus actually being there. Now, I have seen so many times that you can compare people at the gym in terms of how often they are there. That's an easy comparison. But you know what's not so easy is to actually compare their mind. How often are they really in and locked in to what they are doing at the gym, and how often are they not? And I know I've done a podcast which has kind of covered this topic, but what I want to say is the strength mindset gives and what it actually creates outside of what you're doing. So let me just come back to the training example. When my mind is locked in to the gym, I'm not only thinking about my muscles and how I'm training at that moment, I'm also thinking about what I need to do outside the gym to be prepared to give my best at the gym. Now, that means that I may only look like I'm at the gym for 2 hours, but when I'm really locked in, the difference is I'm actually preparing based off what I'm eating, based off what exercises I'm considering doing, based on what weight I should be doing. It doesn't matter, but I am preparing beforehand. Therefore, what may look to somebody else like a 1 or 2 hour workout is in fact not a 1 or 2 hour workout. It actually, in reality, is a 3 or 4 hour workout. I'm just present at the gym for 1 or 2, and I'm preparing outside that, whether it be my meals or my workout preparation, whatever it might be. I learned this from my personal trainer, as always, Steve from Optimizer Sport, and I saw the level of preparation he goes through based on how he locks in to the moment that he is performing what he wants to perform. Now, this doesn't only apply to the gym, as always, it applies to work. The mindset that you bring actually differentiates yourself. How many of us work the same hours and yet we get a completely different career advancement or progression than others? Sometimes we progress faster and sometimes we progress slower. And in my opinion, it comes down to this fact. It comes down to how present you are at work. Now, it may look like, hey, I spend the same 8 hours at work as somebody else. But how do you compete if potentially you just are going to work for the money and the other person is going to work because not only does the money motivate them, but they love and they're passionate about their job? Imagine the amount of preparation they are doing outside work to bring the best to work. This is by far one of the things that are most underestimated when you are trying to develop anything, whether it be at the gym, whether it be professionally, hey, whether it be personally in your personal relationships as well. You cannot compete with passion. You just can't. You cannot compete when you are less locked in than your competitor. You just can't. It's not possible. So therefore, what I believe you need to consider is you need to, first of all, like always, I always bring 2 things to these videos. I try to bring 2 main points to these videos. The first thing you need to do is you need to be honest with yourself. Before you even consider, am I locked in, blah, blah, just consider to yourself realistically. Do a self-assessment. Am I really there? Am I really locked in to work? Am I really locked into my training sessions? Is that something that my mind is really in? And if it's yes, okay, let's talk. And if it's no, why? Why are you not locked in? Is it because you're doing something and maybe you should be doing something completely different? Are you doing a job that you will never ever be locked into? And to be quite honest, if you're not locked into it, you might be stuck. And there may be better paths if you start to consider about something that you want to lock into. Now, the alternative is, are you really locked into it? Is your mind really in? And then the second step is, how are you preparing? So my cheat code is I really think about the things that I'm locked into, and then I think to myself, okay, if I want to continue these things, if I want to get the best out of these activities, then I need to make sure that my preparation is elite. And to do that, I'm not going to be able to simply look at myself and come up with all the ideas myself. I look at people who already are elite at what I do and what I love, and I use the copy and taste technique. I don't know if you've watched any of my previous videos, but I mentioned from Think Media, they talk about copy and taste, not copy and paste, which is to look and observe at something that is done and to add your flavor and your taste to it. So, two things. Are you locked in? And if you are locked in, then are you doing everything that you need to do as preparation? And if you're not locked in, are you doing the right things? Are you actually in the right place? Should you continue to be there? Should you build the ability to get locked in, or should you just try something different? Whatever it might be, never underestimate one point. When you are doing something, you don't need to compete with anybody else, just look at yourself. The version of you which is passionate versus the version of you which is simply doing it because I have to, there is no competition. The version of you which is passionate will always exceed that, and I know that is obvious, but then ask yourself, are you doing things that you're simply not passionate about? And if so, does it make sense? All right, hopefully this video makes sense. Hopefully this video helps you, and if it does, then please share away. As always, this is Luke from After the Final Set. Ciao.